Hey guys, what's going on? It's Christine. They said it couldn't be done, but it finally happened. A bat and a snake met and they fell in love. They got bat snake fever, we got bat snake fever. They got bat snake fever, we're in love. Oh my god, are you guys, who's buying this shit? Who's buying this shit? Who's believing the official story of the coronavirus? Not me. Okay, first it was at a fish mart. Then it was like jump from a bat to a snake to a bat to a human. Like they met, they had sex. I don't know what's going on. Like who is buying this? I'm not saying that people are not dying. I just don't buy the official story that it's a virus and that this virus is new. And, you know, of course, I guess somebody found some information showing that it was patented in 2015. So if it's new, how come it was like patented like 5 years ago? Right? What's going on? Right? How come you noticed Bill Gates a few months ago, maybe I would even say a few weeks ago, was like, I have a suspicion that a new pandemic is gonna hit really soon, right? And then he's like attached to the patent, and so the CDC. But this is just like, how many times are you guys are gonna fall for this? I hope you guys aren't falling for this, right? Like, I mean, it was Zika, then it was West Nile, then it was like Ebola, then it's this again, and people are still running around like chickens with their heads cut off, with their head cut off. It's it's kind of comic only because I know, but I guess, you know, I do have compassion for people that are really scared. I sent a bunch of my friends an article of a doctor just showing what to do if you get sick. Well, he has it under the title is like what to do, the coronavirus, but it's basically this information is useful for any time you get like a cold or, you know, you get sick from, you know, I use, oh wait, I gotta do the disclaimer shit. I'm not a doctor, so I can't give medical advice. But they don't know what the fuck, they don't know how to heal shit either, so what the fuck it. That's what I say. So I use ascorbic acid. I use this daily. I rarely get sick. I was sick actually last week, and I swear I hadn't been sick, I want to say in almost a decade. That I've had autoimmune issues, I've had allergies, I've had endometriosis and stuff like that. But as far as being like having a cold or being sick or having like a chest infection, I can't remember the last time I've had a chest infection except like a week or so ago. And it could have been worse, I'm sure. And I used to get sick all the time when I was a kid, all the time. Like I would get the flu like a few times a year. I would get pneumonia or bronchitis at least twice a year. Like I was always sick. So of course, I've changed my diet. You know, some people don't want to hear this. You need to cut out sugar because, I mean, I'm doing this. I'm not completely off, but I've cut it out drastically. It makes a huge difference. Sugar attacks your immune system, so when you get sick, you know, it's harder for your body to fight off. You want to basically, the name of the game is you want to basically not put any poison in your body, no crack, okay, no cocaine, no, you know, drugs that ravage your body. If you drink alcohol, I mean, I know most people do, but I mean, even if you're sick and if you really want to get well by a certain time, I wouldn't drink just because it's just making it harder for your immune system to heal itself. You're still put alcohol's a poison. You know, it tastes good, it makes you feel great. It's still a poison though that you're putting into your body. So anything poisonous, you know, that you're putting into your body, you just want to be wary of that. Gluten, a lot of the stuff, the glyphosate that they use to make the wheat makes the gluten bad. Soy, what else would I cut out to help my immune system thrive? I would also be careful about what I put onto my skin, you know, because any toxins, like if you're putting perfumes on, they're not natural, or using deodorants that they're not natural, your skin's absorbing it and your liver is processing that. So I'm just saying, you know, I know you can't just do what you can, and I'm just giving you ideas of what you can do. I know it sounds a bit extreme. No smoking, guys. You know, no smoking. Cigarettes. Cigarettes. Just cigarettes. No smoking cigarettes. Cannabis, weed is constantly proving how amazing the medicinal benefits of it are. But when I have smoked weed, I haven't smoked weed in a while either. I use a vaporizer or something, that because even the process of burning the tar could be damaging to your lungs. So you want to be careful about that too. But anyway, ascorbic acid buffered. You can look online to kind of see how much you should take per day per weight. This is a powder. I don't use the pills. What else? You're making sure that your selenium levels are up to date. I use selenium. I use the liquid selenium. Iodine. Most people are really deficient in iodine, especially since we're using a lot of like electronics, the radiation and all that stuff. Iodine levels is keeping that up as a must. Drink lots of water, juice, no cake or healthy cake. I love cake. I've given up cake for now. Oh my God, I love cake. Anyway, this stuff, Sovereign Silver, is amazing. You can learn how to make colloidal silver, which is, it's a form of silver hydrosol. Colloidal silver is a silver hydrosol, but this is, it's bioactive and it's very small. Like the ppms are 10, where I think if you make it, it's a little bit bigger, but it's supposedly the smaller the ppms, the faster acting it is. And I have a really cool experience. A few years ago, I was making some fish soup, and I made like half a gallon of it. It was so good, but I remember I was just stopping being a vegetarian. I hadn't had fish in years, and I remember it smelled funny, and I was like, it smells funny, but I'm like, maybe that's just me, you know, being really sensitive because I had stopped eating fish for such a long time. Whatever, make the soup. Make it, and I drank the broth. I was just like, you know, like, gawking it down, and I drunk it. And as soon as I like stopped, I was like, whoa. And I remember I had a date that night, and I was like, I totally got food poisoning. It was the worst. It was terrible. But I remember I just happened to have some in my house. And I remember a couple of my friends talking to me about silver and how amazing it was. And I looked online and it said, I think it was 2 tablespoons per 30 minutes. I think you could chug it, but I didn't want to chug it. And the thing is, I didn't even have to use the whole bottle. And this stuff is expensive. I think this size is about, it runs about $50. But this is gold, okay? It's gold. It lasts forever, pretty much. You put it in your, you know, cabinet when you need it. This can save your life. I travel with it. Not this. I have to get like a smaller container, but you know, because of the 3-ounce stuff. But this is amazing. So I took like, it was like 2 teaspoons. It was like an ounce every 30 minutes. 4 hours later, I was completely back to normal. Completely. Not like a little bit, not like, oh, I'm feeling a little better. I don't feel like I'm gonna die, but I still feel bad. Like as if nothing happened. Completely back to normal. This stuff is amazing. I believe in this stuff. Like I like, if I ever got sponsors for this, this stuff's amazing. Okay, that's all I have to say. And then also for respiratory issues, what you can do, if you can get a nebulizer, important to nebulize and put the mask over your face, and you can inhale it that way, and it gets into, you know, clears up any kind of infections in your lungs and stuff. So, all right, but getting back to the coronavirus, and then I'll put the article that I was sending out to my friends in there. You know, vitamin D levels too is good. You know, they're spraying shit in the sky, it's black in the sun. We're not getting enough sun. Especially if you're a darker skinned person, you know, you need sun. You know, vitamin D rates are higher in in Black people because we don't really get enough vitamin C, and then we also, we have all the inner races and all the color consciousness shit. So we were all like scared of the sun and shit because God forbid that we get any blackers. So, but we need it. We need it. Everybody needs the sun, but the darker you are, the more vitamin D you need. Okay, so if you're not getting the sun, if you're not in the sun, you can get probably find some vitamin D supplements. What else? I mean, the thing is, you want to fortify your terrain. I'm going to put some stuff like this in the comments. And you know what? I'm going to put some videos from Robert Scott Bell and Yummy Mummy Emporium, because to me, I think they're the only ones that have it right. I think they're people that are speculating, and even in the alternative world and the natural health world. But so far, I think they're the ones that are the closest to, giving people remedies to solve the problem and to figure out what's going on, because they really talk about a lot the terrain. I've talked about this on the channel before, but the terrain theory versus the germ theory. And it's really frustrating because if you look up terrain theory, like on Wikipedia, because, they know everything, they know the truth. So much so that when somebody talks about something they don't agree with, they have to put a tag under your video to let you know what's up, but anyway, I digress. So, you have to kind of weigh these two theories, right? So the modern theory that we have today is the germ theory, and that's with Louis Pasteur. And his theory is that germs are everywhere, they're aggressive, and we have to do things. We have to put things in our body via vaccines, drugs, to build a barrier to keep these germs from attacking us and killing us, right? So if you look at that theory, it leaves us dependent on outside sources to make us well, right? Whereas there's another theory, he had a contemporary at the time named Antoine Beauchamp, and Beauchamp talks about, his theory was the terrain theory. And basically, if we can build internal defenses ourselves, like we build the barriers ourselves by giving our body the right fuel and making sure our immune system is in working order, anytime we come into contact with a microbe, then either if we do get it, it won't be bad and we can fight it off, or we won't get it, right? And they talk about like the Black Plague. This is one of my favorites, because I get people saying that, oh, you anti-vaxxers, you're bringing back diseases like the Black Plague. And I'm like, yeah, dumbass, vaccines weren't invented yet, so I don't even know how that's a possibility, but whatever. But yeah, so that was there are different theories about that too. Some was well poisoning, that they, the water in the well, they were using a lot of lead products, and all of those things could have been a factor. The hygiene, it was basically hygiene and sanitation, y'all. So whether it was rats that had fleas and bacteria, and they didn't have sewer systems, they didn't have refrigerators, so they were eating like probably spoiled food. They were eating like, they didn't have sewer systems, and they were throwing their garbage out in the street, and they were attracting like roaches and rats and all this shit in a very concentrated area, right? Because they were all like mushing together. And then you think about the ecological system, how when, something dies in the wild, it goes back into the ground and it completes a cycle, and then bacteria come and insects come and eat it, and vultures come, and, it goes around like this. But when you're living in a city with no sewage system, and it's concrete, it kind of stops there. It doesn't continue the cycle, and then you attract a lot of microbes into that concentrated area. Whereas, and then, so you have that, or, also the well water, and the water wasn't clean, they didn't have water treatment systems. They were drinking a lot of poor water, stuff like that. And there are people that had knowledge too about sanitation at the time as well, and they were shunned. And and then another thing that I'll tell you about the Black Plague is that a lot of people were murdered because they were afraid. Just because somebody got sick didn't mean that they necessarily died. But if you got sick, there were people that just killed other people because they were afraid that they were gonna spread it. So with this coronavirus thing, I'm not scared of getting sick. I'm more scared of how the people are going to react if some shit goes down in America. Like, there were people that would probably start killing people, and because they're scared. When people are in a state of fear, they don't think properly, and it's basically every man for themselves. So me personally, I'm not tripping. But like in China, like I've been to Hong Kong, but I've never been to mainland. I have two of my good friends actually lived in China, and I have another friend that lived in China for a long time. And I had students. My last few years of teaching, I actually taught at a Chinese prep school. So my students were from China, and they constantly talked about how bad the pollution was because they have a lot of industry there, and and a lot of the cities are concentrated. Somebody brought up the whole thing about the bat situation, how if you're eating a bat and, a lot of them are covered in poop because they make their nests in certain areas and they kind of seethe in the poop and there's a lot of poop over them. So if you're harvesting bats for people to eat and you don't wash the bat poop out, then you will get, you can eat it and get sick that way. Your body's being poisoned. So a virus, they're not talking about how they're testing it. And I think when they throw the word virus out, they just throw that out as like a fear word because they don't have any way of testing it. They're not talking about how they're testing it. They're just assuming that it's a virus, right? And then you can create a patent for a virus without having to prove it. That's a whole nother video talking about Koch's postulates and how they don't isolate all of these, so-called viruses that they make patents for. With Koch's postulates, you're supposed to actually catch it, find it, and put it somewhere else that it reproduces, and that's how you know that you have a transmittable microbe. But they don't do that with these viruses. They just say it is, and it's so there's no scientific methods. It's just a lot of money and power that go into creating all of these patents. And then if you have a patent for something, then you can create drugs and you can get vaccines for it. So it's a huge business thing. Anyway, like I said, I think people are dying. I think it has to do with pollution and sanitation. Who knows? They can even be spraying them with chemicals. We just have to, we have to take their word that they're dying from a virus, but but they're not. We don't know. We know that they're dying, but is it really from a virus? Are they poisoning them? That you hear about. I made the video about polio, and I talked about the Qatar incident where actually 40,000 people, died from, not died, but got polio from the polio vaccine. They created a swine flu scare in 1976 where they were saying, oh, the swine flu is coming, get your vaccine. More people got injured from the vaccine, and this is when you could sue the pharmaceutical industries for vaccine. But more people got injured by the vaccine than the swine flu itself. With the SARS case, Cheryl Atkinson, who's a world-renowned reporter, she's phenomenal, found out that the CDC actually stopped counting cases, and then when it was all said and done, it was found out that they didn't even, those cases that they had they didn't really even have any way of measuring or testing that was SARS. So they were just saying it was all guesswork. It wasn't any proof about it. So my thing is, I don't know what to believe, but the thing is, these people lie and 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 lie all the time. So why are you going to believe them now, right? Don't let them, fear factor you into out of your sensible thinking. I gave you some more stuff to fortify your immune system, but that's all we can do. Because even if it was a virus, they don't have a cure, they don't have a remedy for it. So it's up to us to figure out how to fortify our immune systems and make ourselves strong, right? Also, keep your stress levels low. Cortisol actually lowers you when you're stressed. Your body produces cortisol. It lowers your immune system. If you're sad, try and do things like raise your vibration, like look at a funny movie or feel good movie or comedy or listen to music or eat. Go out and hang out, be around people that, bring your spirits up. Don't, kind of stop watching TV. So if you're, don't, try not to look at all these apps and stuff where they're just be like, oh, it's going to kill us, blah, blah, blah. In a few months, all this hysteria, or a few weeks, I would probably say a few weeks, all this hysteria would be over. They want to use it as a way to see, the elites want to use it as a way to see how much they can get away with, right? In China, they've shut everything down. It's Chinese New Year. It's a huge time of travel for China, but they've shut everything down because of fear. No trains, no buses, no blah, 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 blah. No, people are just, in under curfew. Can they do that here? How much can they get away with? In Zika, they told people not to get pregnant, right? But they were spraying pesticides in that same area where people were getting microcephaly, but they were saying it was a virus. They had no proof. They just said, oh, it's a virus. Everything's a virus, right? And another thing about viruses is industry loves to say that viruses cause things, because then it becomes force majeure, an act of God. You can't sue a virus, but you can sue an industry for poisoning you. So just think about that. All right, guys, my battery's about to get low, and this video is getting a little long, but I just want to put this out there. Please look at some of the links that I put in the description, and I will talk to you later, y'all. Peace and love. Bye-bye. Mwah.